Okay, this is David Kelly G. Creating kind of like my own deposition in my own house. It's Saturday 5 to 11. To give you a little bit of background about myself, yeah, I'm an avid, well, not an avid reader, but I do enjoy reading, and I've read most of those books. Um, I also went to the MCC for a visual communications degree after hurting my back in college. During that time, or before that, I've always read the Bible growing up. I'm interested in kind of like books like Body of Secrets to talk about the National Security Agency. And I read Plato. So I have a vivid imagination, which is why I thought I would be a good fit for advertising or something like that, which is why I went to MCC. During that time, though, I happened to read a book on the shelf over there that my friend loaned me called The People's History of the United States. That got me extremely passionate about history. And then I transferred to Brockport. So to show you really quickly some of my academic accolades, probably the one that I'm the most proud of is a recommendation I got from one of my professors who I believe had studied at Harvard, but that doesn't really matter. He was one of my professors with a doctorate, so he was Dr. Andrade. And he wanted to know if he could keep a copy of my final paper for his teaching portfolio because he very much enjoyed having me in his class, and I made him think. I believe it was the next semester, a couple more, I did my student teaching. One of them was for the lady, I'm not going to give you her name, but she'd said I entered a challenging situation in advanced placement students in a double block schedule, which means it was a 3-hour class. He adapted easily to the 85-minute classes, advanced placement history, to plan the unit and teach it by myself, basically on the fly. So I, used instructional strategies and stuff like that. Visual learning, I think, is very important. So I'm really not going to go too much further. But, well, at school, I was in the McNair Scholarship, and I did write an article for that book. Quickly, my last semester for master's, I had to basically take that whole book and come up with an explanation to justify that book in one semester, and that's what I did in this. So now I was going to do this at the end, but I'm going to show you now that I've already given 5 initial statements on my YouTube channel that I created about 12, 13 days ago. And as you'll see, I've put up a lot of videos 12 days ago, yep. A lot of videos in the last 12 days. And I kind of think Rochester General took a little of them too seriously, and I told them I was going to put my story into a book, and that's my working title, and those are my working videos. So anyway, I want to go, let me just check my notes, to May 2nd, and the weird text I sent to my aunt, about 70 of them, and one blue text that I thought I sent to my brother's old phone. Let me describe this, because he's got a phone from Florida that he lost, and he has a new phone from New York, which he just got. And I thought I sent him a text on his Florida phone, but my brother informed me that phone no longer worked. So even if I sent him a text, there's no way he would have gotten it because he has a New York phone number. So whatever number I was calling my brother on, where I felt I'd sent a weird blue text, I have no idea how the psychologist is going to say later that there was no way she could prove it. So I'm going to pause because I'm getting parched. And then I'm going to start going through some of the blue text that I did send to my aunt starting about 7 o'clock. I don't have the one available, but I have it backed up, and I can provide an appendix of all the ways I've tried to communicate with Rochester General, as well as the ways I've put this whole experience into a chronological timeline that makes perfect sense for having an out-of-body experience. So please let me get a drink and let me pause. Okay, this is Dave Kelly back again. This is kind of what I do because a lot of times I make these videotapes and I run out of storage or my phone dies, and it's hard to recount the story without getting emotional. So that's what I've tried to do, is reflect on everything with a source tape. As a historian, the most reliable sources for any event are the people who actually went through them, and that's who I am. Okay, so that kind of explains the one blue text I thought I got about 10:07, 10:06, something like that, 10 o'clock. I'm going to say 10 o'clock. Maybe 9:55. I got a weird blue text from my brother. Or I sent a weird blue text to my brother. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Okay. I got home from work. I was feeling really, really good. I'd recently ended a negative relationship in my life. And I felt I'd kind of like turned the corner. I was thinking better, feeling better, probably than I have since I was a teenager. So I got home, I started to feel a little bit confused, a little bit disorientated, out of sorts, kind of. And I vaguely remember starting to send my aunt weird texts and then stepping back and saying, wait a minute, what did I send her? And I'm going to show you a couple of those. I do remember 2 texts distinctly that I sent my aunt. And this is one of them. And this is about 8:45 on May 2nd. And my aunt kind of wanted to know what was going on or something like that. Yeah, she said, please stop in one of my texts. And I texted her back. So I went upstairs because I didn't know why I was sending her texts, and it was very confusing. And this is what I said. It's a strange and beautiful at the same time. I have a new way of understanding of words and gain tone. My vocabulary is it's not extensive, but I am able to tap into the higher. Well, I don't even want to get into my language increase, but gain tone. And that's one thing, that's kind of like, I would say the way I enunciate words and everything, is far more controlled and measured than it used to be. And I said I gained tone and understanding at the same time, and I'm getting karma. Now, I'm not sure exactly what the karma is, but the way of processing this information in my brains is wonderful, with clarity in my words and understanding. So I was thinking and speaking much clearer afterwards. However, I did send her a text. I don't have it right up, saying that all this was confusing to me. I didn't know what it meant. And that's kind of exactly what was going on. I didn't know what it meant. And I was confused, and I was trying to reach out to my aunt because she has a doctorate, and I felt, maybe I didn't understand things, and she could explain it to me. So here are some of the more weird texts I sent her. Understanding, clarity, wisdom, clarity. Then I sent her a whole bunch of numbers. Like I said, I kind of felt like I was unlocking a higher part of my mind, and I don't know, the numbers, perhaps, I believe in my other statement, I talked about people who are stuck in an emotional thing. Your brain tends to hardwire itself, so your thinking becomes very routine. which my thinking had become. But once you break that, the brain itself has to actually create a new neuron to apply it to the other side of the brain. And once you did that, you would start thinking things in a whole different information. And I believe neurosurgeons could give you the background on that. I just don't have it available. And I also sent weird things about dreams. Carl Jung, I believe his name is, a very famous man, and he wrote that our dreams were actually a way of our subconscious of working out our memories. So I sent my aunt weird texts about dreams, which I'm thinking is our subconscious, which Jung described. And that's right there. I'm understanding my dreams. 2 a.m., although it's 10 to 9. And she told me to stop. She was blocking my phone and she was going to call social services. Now that, took me aback. I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing? She said I had a complete misunderstanding of boundaries. So yeah, I was like, well, this is very weird, and I did not want to text my aunt again. I might have even hid my phone, I think. But then I got a weird blue text, as I described, or I sent a weird blue text, I thought, to my brother. And after I did that, I'm going to show you I made a bunch of phone calls. But I did send my aunt one more text. Well, two more texts, actually. That one, 2.3.4.1Q. And the name of my book that I'm working on is MF3.Q, and it stands for, it's not mind fucked, like you say, fucked. It's mind, what the fuck? Kind of like the X-Files. I don't know. Any kind of movie, or The Matrix is another one of the source materials. I try and explain things to people with. The K2, I'm going to have to bring in a second. I don't want to forget that. Because that's what the police told me was my problem. So hang on. Let me just pause for a second. Regroup. I'm actually going to upload this and finish the background and then go into my actual complaint with the Rochester General Hospital. Thank you very much. This is Dave Kelly G. Saturday, 11:15.